All right. Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's another episode of Two Nobodies Talking podcast. Today, we're very excited to have with us Mr. Greg Todd down there in the corner. Greg Todd is a physical therapist and an online fitness coach. He's co-owner of Renewal Rehabilitation. Hopefully, I said that correctly. And also, he's a consultant for ptbuilder.com, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a huge fan of all of Greg's videos on YouTube and on his site. He's incredible. Actually, I recognize that room, Greg, and if I'm not mistaken, I bet on the wall there's a Deadpool and a Superman poster that I look at every time. Huge comic book nerd here.
You got it, man. What you don't see in the videos, you don't see that there's another Man of Steel and there's an Iron Man 3 poster up as well.
Oh, man.
I have to change the video setup next.
Well, I'm a fan of you in any light. That even makes it better.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Greg, obviously we know who you are. We've been watching your videos and huge fans. Maybe you can give our audience just a quick recap of, who you are and what you do.
Cool. So I've been a physical therapist since 2000, graduated from Florida International University. I was one of the last cats to graduate with a bachelor's in PT. I worked for 3 corporate settings for 4 years before I decided to go open up my own gig. By year 3, I was working with professional tennis players and then had a stint where I was working privately with, at that point, the number 1, number 4, and number 16 player in the world. And I was working with them privately. And then I just decided after a while that I wanted to have my own thing. So I went out, did my own gig. I've had my own practice now for 12 years, made my name initially as a consultant back in like 2009-10, when I was one of the first guys on the scene to not rely on physician referral and to build up his space by doing blogs. Like I did blogs on tennis players and did blogs on marathoning. And basically it drew all these people to my practice. And then I just kind of took it to the next level with social media. And now I have a $1 million business, 20 employees. I have the life that I didn't even dream of this life, honestly. 4 kids, and I'm married to my college sweetheart. So there you go.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations, Greg. So, listening to what you just said, you described those first kind of 4 years where you were working for somebody else, honing your skills, right? I actually was just listening to one of your videos that really motivates me. And that's, I think it's titled the 5 to 7 year window, right? And it's geared right toward PT students as they graduate. And you use the word hustle, right? I think anyone that was an athlete understands hustle, hustle, hustle. And from what you're describing, you learn everything you could. You're active on social media, making these videos, and it's great. Maybe you can elaborate a little more. What do you mean by get out there and make the most of your learning opportunities in those first 5 years?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, I'm looking at it now. I didn't have 4 kids, in those first 5 to 7 years, and your priorities are different. So like when I just became a PT, I didn't have any kids. So what else am I going to do? I could either stay at home and watch, football all weekend, which is nice, or I could make things happen. So I went and I made things happen. I could go to continuing education courses, or I can go to the bar. I decided to go to continuing education courses. Like that's the time to make things happen, because you want to set yourself up where now you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Now I just have decided that I want to help the profession, but I can do whatever I want to do now. So to me, you got to hustle. You got to make as many connections as possible. You have to put yourself out there as much as possible. You have to hone your craft as not just a clinician, but if you have aspirations to have your own business one day, you got to hone your craft of business. Like you got to make things happen. And because so few people in this field are making things happen, it really is super easy for you to actually make things pop for you because you just stand out. So that's what I really meant by that 5 to 7 year window. There's a lot of people that had the same opportunities that I had. I just took it and they didn't. And that's why I'm where I'm at right now. And that's why they are not where I'm at right now. And that's it.
Greg, I'm a huge fan, and I love every single video you put out, especially about working your butt off. As Gary Vaynerchuk says, work your face off. I think you are the epitome of that. Luckily, I can still see your face right now, so I know you haven't worked completely off yet. But I think you made an interesting point in that, you said, I didn't go to the bars and I went to these extra continuing ed courses, right? And I think that makes so much sense to someone that's easy for. But what really drove you? What was behind that? What was your why? What was the reason for, was it eventually having money? Was it eventually having the lifestyle that you wanted? Because I think there are a lot of people who say, oh, I do want it. But what makes someone actually do it? What drove you to take action?
Man, that's an awesome question. I think there's a couple things that drove me. Number one is when I first started treating patients, I realized quickly when I was working in your typical corporate setting that this wasn't going to work for me. Like, I didn't like the fact that I couldn't actually behave like a physical therapist. I had to look at this chart, and I had to look at this insurance. And this insurance was going to dictate my relationship with that person. I couldn't treat people like human beings. So I knew that, like, my why, and I've always been just a guy that believes in relationships. I knew that it wasn't set up that way for me to have that. I think that was number one. Number two, I've never really been driven by money. Now, look, I've never met a poor person that's built a hospital. Okay. So let's get that straight. Like, I want to help people and I want to have nice things too, but that's never really been a huge driver for me. I've always been big on lifestyle. Like, I've always been big on having options. I like that I can go out with my wife to breakfast 4 days a week. Like, I like the fact that I can, pick and choose when I want to work. I've always liked that part. And I just realized that I was never going to be able to have freedom of lifestyle working in the way that most PTs work. And then the other thing is that, I don't know if I've ever shared this in any of my videos, but my wife and I, we had this plan, right? We had this plan that, okay, I was going to graduate from PT school. She was going to go back and get her master's in teaching. And then we were going to travel, right? We're not going to have any kids. We're going to travel. And then 5 years after, I was going to go get my MBA and then open up a practice, right? That was just like, you're just talking crap, right? He's like, okay, yeah, this is what we're going to do. Okay, none of it worked out like that. Okay, a year into our marriage, she gets pregnant. I obviously had something to do with that. At least I believe so. So my wife gets pregnant, and we realized quickly, like, I wanted her to stay home and she wanted to stay home. So again, like, for me, I wanted that, man. I wanted my wife to be home with my daughter. And I knew that I was going to have to make things happen. And so my why has always been based on my family. It's always been based on my family and been based on lifestyle. And if that's what your why is, like, if you have this thing like, man, one day I do want to be married and I want to be able to travel and I want to be able to, like, go to my kids' basketball games or baseball games or soccer games, like, you got to have your own business. Like, you have to have your own, especially if you're an outpatient. Like, you ain't got a shot in hell if you don't have your own business, because if you're going to work with the cool patients, well, the cool patients usually don't finish work until 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like, so you're seeing the core of your people 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. So, I'm the owner. I can do it. I don't really work anymore, but like it's cool. But and I enjoyed it when I used to grind and stuff. But I'm at a point now where I want to be with my kids, man. I want to be with my wife, and I still want to impact people. So now I'm able to do it by employing a lot of people in my culture, within my system that I have. They're super happy. And then I'm able to do what I'm doing right now for the profession. So honestly, back to your question, my why has always been family and lifestyle. That's it. And
Greg,
money,
One quick follow-up question. I think that's an awesome why. I think that's a why that never goes away. I think that's a core why. Like there's no whys beyond that one. Quick question though, talking about grinding, how hard do you work? And how hard did you work? I want people to to understand when you got out of school and when you started to have this idea of owning your own business. Because I think people say grind and people think I work hard. And your real experience, how hard did you work?
Okay, so here, I'll give it to you guys real. First year, I worked for Health South, right? I worked from, my schedule was 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., okay? I worked there 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Because I was a new guy, you know, on the block, I worked 8 to 2 on Saturdays, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think I worked like 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So that's how I got my 40 hours in a week. All right. After I finished on Saturdays, I went to Delray Beach and I worked at an ALF. That's how I made extra money. You guys got to remember, I made $39,500 for my first PT job. All right. Mind you, at Health South, I was also going back and forth between 2 clinics. Okay. All right. So just to give you an idea, I would work one clinic from 11 to 1. I would take my lunch break from 1 to 2, drive my ass over to the other clinic, and you go work for the rest of the day until 8 o'clock. All right. So just to kind of give you an idea. All right. Then now 8 months into the game of working at Health South, I then got this opportunity to work with young tennis kids in Pembroke Pines. So that's like close to where I lived, right? Now, let me tell you about this amazing opportunity. The amazing opportunity, here was the benefit to it. It was on Tuesdays, and instead of working from 3 to 8, I got to work from 7 to 4. But I had to take my butt after work and go work with those kids for 3 hours for free. I did that for a year before, right? So, and then just remember, I'm doing all these other things as well. So that was my first year and a half. Then after that, because I worked at that ALF, I ended up getting a gig where I worked. They basically said, hey, we want you to be a clinic director, because I realized there was nowhere for me to go as a staff PT. Like I went from 39.5 to like 39.8 after a year. I'm like, okay, this is kind of whack. So they said, look, the only way is you got to like become a clinic director. I'm like, well, how do you do that? Can I do it as young as I am? They're like, well, there's no job here at Health South for you to offer that. That ALF that I worked for was called Kessler. They had an outpatient gig in Tampa Bay. That's how I got up here. So back then, man, I was working, like that clinic was terrible. It sucked. I was working like 60, 70 hours, treating patients, learning how to do, stuff that clinic managers do. I was doing that stuff at the age of 24, 25. So, and then when I was working at my last gig, I was working 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. It was a brand new clinic, right? 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. When I started working with those professional tennis players, it was about 5 minutes away from the clinic that I worked at. I would go to their house. I would work on them, do manual work. Remember, these are European players. One of them was an American player. European players, they want you to work on them. You're working on them till like 11 o'clock at night. Drive myself home, shower, repeat the next day. But you got to remember, I'm like 3.5 years out of school. So I'm not good enough, at least in my mind, to be working with the number 1 and number 3 player in the world. So I had to level up quick, guys. Like I went to St. Augustine, did my manual therapy courses within a year and 3 months. So the weekends, that's what I did. I drove myself from Tampa to St. Augustine. I don't think people understand, like, you probably hear Gary Vaynerchuk say this too. I think we're at a major advantage being immigrants, like from immigrant families, because like this is just the norm. Like you just work hard. Like you just work your butt off. You hear, like I'm Jamaican. I don't know if you guys know that, but basically, like, I don't know if you ever seen this show called In Living Color, where they're like, oh, he's the mail carrier. He's the bus driver. Okay, well, yeah, that's kind of like how we were. We're just hustlers, man. And you just make things happen. And that like you get this opportunity to be in this amazing country and like anybody could kill it. It's so, but you just gotta want to, you just have to want it. You just have to want it. And that's really it. So Yeah, I think I worked pretty hard. At least I did.
That sounds horrible. Horrible.
No, you know what? But here's the thing. I think the big thing, and it's so funny that you say this, because I don't know if you ever saw any videos with my older brother, but my older brother has done really well for himself. He's created $2 million businesses, and not even in things that he went to college in. One is in graphics design, and one is in real estate. And funny enough, my brother right now, you know, like we both made it, right? Like, I guess we're like in the top 1% of like people in the United States, right? Like the entire United States. And my brother, just to give you an idea, my brother is now training. He's basically a mental coach, and he's going all over the United States, training Division I and Division II teams. And he's traveling everywhere. And he's right now in North Dakota, and like took 3 flights to get to North Dakota to then land and drive 3 hours to go talk to these young girl volleyball players. Like, the thing is that when you love what you do, it's not hard because you love what you do. I think a lot of people in PT don't really even like it. So everything feels like it's a struggle. Bro, I love freaking physical therapy. I love it. I've seen what it's done. 16 years in this game, I've seen people that I've helped avoid surgery, people that have, like, their lives have been changed. I'm actually doing a podcast Saturday morning with my first ever patient. Like, me and her have been best friends. We have run 5Ks together, 10Ks together. She got married to one of my other patients. They got kids now. Like, yo, this is like, I love relationships with solid people. And yo, this ain't really work, man. This is like passion. I just love what I do. I love what I do. And if you love what you do, you're going to make so much freaking coin in this profession.
That's great. Well, I mean, you got to get there. You got to realize it, and you got to get there.
I just think the one thing, if I had to look back at it now, the one thing is I just wish I would have been in my purpose quicker. And when I have people in my students in my courses that I have, that's what we figure out. What is your purpose? Like, what niche of physical therapy do you want to destroy it in? Because I think that's what happens to most people. You come out of school, you've got a lot of debt, and your mind starts telling you, I got to go to the job that pays me the most. But you freaking hate that. Like, you hate that job. So you might get paid. It's such a short-term thinking. You're like, oh, I get paid the most because I get the highest pay, the best benefits there. But you want to pluck your eyeballs out. Like, that's not good. You're better off being in something that you actually like. So then you work a little harder. You don't mind doing it. It's not laborious to you. And then what happens is you just stick out. Like, you stick out. Like, you're going to get promoted because you're going to be different than everybody else. But people don't understand that. So that's what I try to show my students.
Describe your day tomorrow. What's your schedule? Now that you've got the lifestyle and the job you want, describe your day tomorrow so that people can understand what it's like to own your business.
Tomorrow I will actually go to my clinic, my South Tampa clinic, because my partner's in Greece. So I'm going to go there but I mean, I just have like a couple little meetings. I'll train my staff a little bit during lunch, answer any questions. I got 3 consulting meetings with like 3D4 Medical, with Blue Jay Medical, and then I'll just kind of like come home. You know what I mean? Like, and then, that's really it. I mean, that's my typical day. Usually my day is wake up in the morning. I'll do my live feed on Periscope. After that, I talk to my virtual assistant team, which is 3 full-time people. Make sure that they're all good on their projects that they have to do for me throughout the day. Basically, they know what to do at this point, So, and then, like, have breakfast with my wife, have meetings, and I just kind of like, I still do a lot. I just don't treat much anymore, I just realized, like, people would tell me all the time, like, dude, the way you guys are doing it at Renewal, it's not done like this anywhere else. Volunteers would come in, they're like, bro, this is like the greatest experience. I nearly like decided not to do PT, or like, oh my gosh. And I start, like, you hear that over the years and you just kind of think people are just kind of maybe blowing smoke up your butt a little bit. But then you start to realize that like, especially when you start consulting and you realize like how archaic a lot of private practice owners are, you realize that, yo, like these people don't even know this exists. Like they don't even realize that this exists and it's thriving. So I just said, you know what? Like, I gotta just get it out there to people. Like, it's possible. Go out there and like make it happen for yourself. So,
Wow.
Well, hey, Greg, I mean, you've made it a premium to say that throughout your life and the success you've had, you always put mentorship and experience and valuing that experience, the worth of it, ahead of the paycheck, you know, and I think that's great advice going for anyone entering the healthcare field. So let me ask you this, maybe a little more specifically, for a new grad that's going out there and hitting the market, trying to get their first job and making the most of it. Would you recommend in today's climate to seek out that kind of mentorship and experiences by get the job first, seek out a mentor there, or the way social media is so fast, it's so wide, it's accessible now, can someone branch off on their own and just do something like we are and really reach out to professionals that speak to us?
I mean, if you have a situation, I don't think there is much mentorship available in the form of you getting a job and you having someone that is available to mentor you. I mean, if you think about it like this, okay, let's just think about it like this. Most practice owners are like full-time clinicians. You only have so much energy, guys. Like, you're just a human being. You only have so much energy. Funny enough, I had a staff meeting with my Wesley Chapel staff today, and I'm like, look, my job used to be to give everything to my patients. That's not my job anymore. My job now is to give everything to you guys because you're going to give everything to the patients. It's like, that's why y'all love me so much. Because I give everything to you, right? Okay. So if you get a job, I mean, is like, first of all, do you want to be mentored by that person? Like you're looking at what they have and that's exactly what you want. Like, you got to make sure, like, is that even the person I want to be mentored by? Does that person, is their life mimicking what I want? I mean, that's the first thing. The second thing is, do they even have time for you? You know, like even if they're a great clinician, and don't even get me on a rant with that, like being a great clinician has nothing to do with killing it with regards to having your own practice. Has absolutely nothing. I thought it did. That's why I did so many damn CEUs. It has nothing to do with it. So you got to decide, like, if you can find that, you can find a live person that wants to employ you and wants to mentor you and is willing to give you the time, then you hit the jackpot. You take that gig. You take it over money and whatnot, because, you know, but if you can't, then the beauty is that social media allows you, man. Social media, internet, people have online courses, all that stuff. Like, it allows you to get it. Like, you can get mentorship through other people. You know, but obviously the most ideal is if you had it one-on-one with somebody that you can actually see and they can help you with not just, you know, the clinical and the business. But I mean, even for me, like, I mentor a lot of people, right? But even for me, like, I'm not mentoring anybody clinically anymore. Like, I'm not doing it because I'm only one person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm helping 1,200 of y'all via the internet. All right. That's enough. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing, I got a dude. He's like, hey, I want to come to your clinic. I'm like, bro, I'm not going to be there. I was like, come, but you got to see some of my other people. They know how GT rolls. So, you know, so that's it. So anyways, hopefully I answered your question.
No, you really did. And with energy. And I think it really speaks to you. You've built something that's successful. And like you said, it's different. You know, you look at some of these PT clinics and you start backing up enough and they kind of look a little cookie cutter. You know, they're not innovative. They don't have that little something special that makes you stand out and hopefully makes someone else with that kind of energy stand out. So let me ask you then, if you could give us a little, you know, tidbit of your special spice. What is it that makes renewal rehab that special? What is it that you had brought and introduced?
I think it's the experience. I just think it's the experience. From day one, the one thing that I train my staff on is every single person that has to enter those doors, like, their way to get in is if all hell has broken loose in their life. Physically, these people are hurting. And we know that physically, if you're hurting, it bleeds over into mental, emotional, spiritual. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that, like, we don't want to sugarcoat it with regards to what we do as physical therapists. We're basically allowing your body to heal, and we're going to be your coach. We're going to be your guide throughout this process. And with our knowledge, we can do that, and we can help to guide you throughout the process. But a lot of times the process takes a while. So since it's going to take a while, we're going to have a lot of damn fun, and we are going to enjoy this, and we're going to actually make you not want to leave. So it's the experience. That's why people come to renewal. That's why people will go to the hospital, the new hospital that's built, and they got all the fancy equipment and all that stuff, and it looks all sweet. And after a day, they're like, this is kind of whack. I got to get back to renewal, because it's the experience. And I think that is my unique service prop, and that's what allows me to not be there, because everybody that works there wants the experience. Selfishly, they want it for themselves. So they enjoy their job every day, and then they enjoy it, and the patients feel it. They feel the vibe. They feel the energy. They feel the love between the staff. So they're enjoying themselves now, and they forget they have a damn ACL reconstruction. Like, damn, what the hell am I here for again? You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, crap, I don't want this to end. And that's what happens. And then I was able to just do that over and over and over again, build solid relationships with people. And, and that's really it, man. That's what makes us who we are.
Hey, and that's incredible. I mean, talking to you for just a few minutes, it's no surprise that you have this effect on people. You make people laugh. You energize them. And you had mentioned in a little bit, it's not about, the technology that you have at your clinic. It's not having the greatest gear. It's having the best people and creating this atmosphere. I will say this, though. One of the videos that you posted on YouTube as well highlighted how you take extra time with a patient who might have questions about their body or what's going on with them after an injury. And you will use technology in some ways, but in a way that's innovative, right? Not a new piece of machinery, but I believe you had a tutorial for the Complete Anatomy app, which certainly I used in school. And I love the way that you did it to share what you know, right, in a visual way with the patient and bridge that communication gap. Anything else that you do like that to really help the patient get involved?
Yeah, so for me, there's a few different things. Number one is I understand that most people have no clue what a physical therapist does. When they finish my evaluation, there is no doubt that we are the shiznit, okay? So basically, I don't have to say anything. I don't have to say who I am. I don't got to say no OCS. I ain't got to say no CS. I ain't got to say any of that. All you got to do is listen to me. Listen to me, because I have listened to you. That's number one. Most people in the medical profession aren't doing that. They're not even listening to the people. They're cutting them off before they can even talk. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is I'm asking people, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Okay, now let's not talk about range of motion here. Let's not talk about that 4- crap and what. No. What do you want? Like, what do you want to get back to? Okay, cool. All right. Then I bring out the goods. Now I bring out the weapons. All right. So now I use that awesome app to be able to demonstrate, hey, this is what's going on with you. Okay. And I make sure that they understand. Like, does that make sense? And if they don't understand, I'll explain it again in a different way. And once I've done that, guys, I have all the power. Like, I have all the power. So this is one of my issues, is that we've moved this profession to a DPT. We're trying to gain respect. This is the way to gain respect. Like, they'll call you whatever you want them to call, because you're the first person to do that for them. So now the next thing that I do is I communicate with my patients. I just use technology to create that communication. Remember, for me, my why is that I want to be home with my family. I want to be able to do things on my terms now. So I communicate through people using text message platforms, using email platforms that they can communicate with me with regards to what's going on. I do hand them off. I mean, I don't see patients that much anymore, but they are seeing my team. But I want them to know at any time you can reach me. And there's a way that I do it. So all those things are things that patients aren't getting at other places. And it just makes us stick out that much more. And as I said, it's a super easy game to win now. Guys, yeah, I hustled hard in the beginning. And I'm telling you, you should hustle. But if you have someone directing you, like you don't have to go through all the trials that I went through. Like, there's no reason. Like, see, that's one of the things. Like, I don't believe, oh, well, since I went through that, you should go through that too. No, I don't believe that. Like, if I know something, I need to tell you, because if I really care about the profession, then I need to try to make things easier for you guys, right? So that's what I do. Do those things. You'll win big. Like, you'll win all day in this profession. All day. You'll win all day.
Greg, man, that's incredible. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like there's hope that we can go out there and follow in your footsteps and have a guide like you, or someone who's already driven, the boat there, and there's all this pathway that we can kind of follow is amazing for us. And I kind of wanted to ask a question, though. It's sort of a random question, but it's a hypothetical. You have vision, hearing, and speaking. You can only have one of them in the clinic. Which one are you taking?
Hearing.
Okay. Why is that?
If I just listen to people, look, guys, that is the missing ingredient now in healthcare. No one's listening. I've made millions of dollars off of being a better listener than everybody else. You guys understand that? Hold on, let me say that again. I've made millions of dollars by being a better listener. I didn't say being a better manual therapist. I didn't say being better at understanding Mackenzie. I didn't say be better at understanding Maitland. I said being better, the best listener there is out there. Because when you actually listen long enough, you'll find out that not only does your patient want to be able to walk again, but they want to be able to run again. You'll find out that not only do they want to be able to run again, they actually want to be able to do a 5K. And they had this dream of like doing a half marathon. You see, most people don't listen. All they're looking for is their numbers that they can send to their documentation software so that Blue Cross Blue Shield will reimburse them their little $14. I ain't about that action. I'm listening, man. Because then I find out that, oh, wait a minute. They want to be able to do a 5K? Wait, they want to be able to do a 10K? Wait, they want to be able to do a half marathon? Shoot, I can help you forever, man. I can help you forever. So for me, I'm getting double. I'm getting double the amount out of people just because I'm listening, because they've told me they want more help. And I told them I got solutions. Game over.
Wow. I kind of had a feeling that was going to be your answer. And I'm really glad you did, because I think it's something that I've noticed sometimes. There's a great piece of literature out there that said that most physicians jump into someone else's talk after they ask a patient their story, what's going on. They tend to jump in within the first 20 seconds. I think I saw it on a TED Talk, and it blew me away that within 20 seconds you cut someone else off, even if it's just an interruption to clarify something. They're not even giving someone the time to let it out. And I think I see that sometimes in our world too, in our profession, and it blows me away. Greg, are you okay if we go to a part 2 real quick?
Yeah, man, it's all good.
I want to dig in a little bit about emotional intelligence with you. So,
all right, cool.
Guys, stay on the line. We're going to bring Greg back on for part 2. 1 second.